Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is part 8 of my Speargun project, and on today's video I'll start working on the line reel for the Spearguns. I made this drawing that shows how the reels look like, and as you can see, this is a vertical reel and we'll have a drag system to control the tension on the line. This one here shows all the parts that have to be made, and the first part that I'm gonna start working on it will be this one here, which is the frame for the reel. That frame, it's made from a 2mm thick stainless steel, and with this printout, which is actually a template that once I cut it and glue it on, will work as a guide for me to drill and cut the final profile. So don't go anywhere, stick around and watch how I make a Speargun reel. Using the drill press machine and this tool that I made from a broken tap, I'm gonna mark the center of each hole before I drill it. Next step will be drilling all of these holes, and to know which drill diameter I should use for each hole, I'll use this drawing. I glued the stainless steel onto this piece of wood, and this way it's easier to move from one hole to the next. And because I'm using relatively small diameter drills, this is a 3mm, there's no need to clamp it in the vise. I switched to a 4mm diameter drill to do a few more holes. Before I do any more work on this piece, I gotta clean up the backside. It's full of burrs from the drill breaking through, and for that I'll use a file and I file that down. But before I do that, I gotta remove this double side tape. And if I was gonna do this again, I would just put a little bit of tape on each corner and it would be plenty. Removing that piece of wood, it was very difficult. So I clean up the back and then I'll carry on and I'll do a little bit more work around this area here. Now with this polishing stone, I remove the rest of the burrs and some scratches that I made by using the file. Well, for now it's good. Let's carry on with the work. Now with this 4mm drill, I'll make these little pockets all the way around. They're about 1mm or so deep and about 3mm diameter on the top. And that's for these pins that the tension knob will have. And the pins have a little spring on the back, and that keeps some pressure on the knob and prevents it from turning too easily. Before I carry on with removing the rest of the material from these areas here, like I already done on this spot, I'm gonna have to make some nylon washers. Those washers, they fit in this middle hole here and they look like this. And having those washers will make cutting this hole to size a lot easier. I don't have a lathe, but I'm gonna make the washers using my drill press machine. I got a piece of nylon, and this is a 6mm drill. I'm gonna drill a hole through and then with the 8mm tap, I'm gonna tap it about 1 centimeter deep, and the idea is to bolt this screw down, and this will be the shank for me to hold it on the drill chuck. So I'll do that, and then I'll set up the machine to start turning this piece of nylon and make some washers. And this is the setup to start turning the washers. I got the cutting tool clamped in the vise and the screw bolted onto the piece of nylon. So now I clamp it in the drill chuck. And the first thing I'll do is turning the outside diameter to 25mm. Now with the 25mm outside diameter done, I'm going to cut this face, and after that I'm going to cut this shoulder. It's 5mm deep by 16mm diameter, and to help me make this cut, I made this little piece. It's just 3 washers glued together with the paper in between, and I made this 5mm thick. This way I place it here, which is the machine stop. I drop it, cut the bottom side, then I remove it, and now I know that the distance from the bottom to this new position is 5mm. And now to cut the shoulder, I remove the washers. And I can start cutting the shoulder. I have 17mm, so I have to take 1 more millimeter. Let's measure it again. And it's right on size. Now I drop the machine down and turn the machine on. And move the machine back to clean that face. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I don't have a way to measure it here, but putting the washers, I don't feel any step. So I'm on size or very close to size. Now using this small file, I'm gonna just make a small rod on this corner here and this one here. There's a few more things to do before the washer is finished. One will be to make 2 cuts, one on each side to create a flat. Then cutting off the washer from this bigger piece of nylon. And the last thing will be to make this hole square, because right now it's 6 millimeters diameter, but will have to be square. But before I do that, I'm going to use the same setup and make another washer very similar to this one, except for this hole in the middle, instead of being square like this one here, is 10 millimeters diameter, and the shoulder, it's only 2 millimeters deep. Off camera, I made another piece, and now I'm going to cut a little bit on each side to make 2 flats, and after that I cut off the washer from this bigger piece of nylon, like I did with this one here. This one, to make the flats, I have this pin that I'm clamping in the vise, and with double side tape to hold it in place. I was getting a lot of vibration and chatter when I was cutting off the washer. So now I'll use this rod to put some pressure on the nylon and this way dampen somehow the vibrations. It will take some time, but it's working. I had to stop cutting because the nylon was touching the cutter on this ball bearing. This is a cutter to cut wood with a router, but it did the job. And it's so close to break off the washer that now with a small blade I can just cut the rest off. And the rod helped a lot. It dampened the vibrations and the cut was a lot smoother. Okay, I got the 13 millimeters. Took a little bit of measuring to get the hole in the center, but it turned out pretty good. And this is the setup to cut the other washer, the one with the 10 millimeter center hole and the 2 millimeter shoulder. The outside is pretty much the same except for the shoulder, but this hole is bigger, it's 10 millimeters, and for that I'll use this cutter to cut this hole bigger. And I put this mirror here, and this way I can see and control the position of the cutter. Should be very close to size now. I cut a little bit of 10 millimeter rod, and this way I can check the size of the hole. And right now it's still too tight, but it goes in a little bit, so I'm very close to size. I'm gonna cut a little bit more and then check it again. Okay, not too bad. There's only one thing left to do to finish up these washers, and that is making this hole square. And for that I made this tool, and now I have to push the tool through the washer, and for that I'll use the vise. Well, it did cut. I can see some nylon shavings, but it's quite tight, so I'm going to remove this and then see how it ends up. And here it is, from a round hole to a square hole. I measured it and it's very close to size, but the hole is tapered. So now, using the same tool, I'll push it through, but from this side. I have to push the tool in and out a few times from both sides, but now it just goes in very easily. And that tells me that I got the square hole on size, and I got the other washers done too. This is the other one with the square hole, and these two, the ones with the 10mm hole. Overall, this turned out pretty good, and I'm very pleased with the end result. But I wish I had the lathe to do this, because making something like this with a drill press machine, it was a little bit tedious, but possible. Now I go back and I resume working on the frame for the reel, and I'll start by removing the material from these areas here. I know that you may be disappointed, but this is the end of part 8 of my Speargun project. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to give a big thumbs up and write a comment too. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to visit and see all my other videos that I made so far. And if you like it, subscribe to it. This way Google will send you a message notifying you when I posted a new video. So for now, I gotta say thanks for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time on Mr. My Videos for You. Bye bye! Oh, I almost forgot to show you something. Bye bye!